Welcome back. I was so excited to show you how everything's doing in the greenhouse and the garden today, and Matt just called me down here because we forgot something. Last week I was planting our cabbage here and we didn't get the fence put back up. How did we forget that? You know, you take all the time to do these things and you forget something small. So anyways, one of our roosters got in here with the cabbage, as chickens do, was digging around. And honestly, I don't think was trying to eat much of the plants, but I might be shy of a few plants. So I'm going to see if I can kind of clean this up a little bit and see what we've got left. Yeah, there definitely was one here missing. Oh. Okay. That seems salvageable. Ooh, what happened down here? Now, thankfully, I think Matt caught it pretty quickly. But you can kind of see he was in here eating for sure. A lot of my cabbages are missing the leaves on the top already. So that stinks. I'm only counting 32 cabbage and I planted 34. 2 of them were completely pulled out, so I replanted those quick. But a lot of these are eaten down to almost nothing. So just because I'm counting 32 doesn't mean there aren't 2 more hiding in here that are also eaten down to nothing that might come back up. So, oh well. Let's see if we can get this fence shut so nothing like this happens again. I don't know. I think this is just going to fall on the cabbage if I leave it like this. Matt to the rescue. He shut this for me. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, won't have that issue anymore.
So I've done a little bit of weeding today in the garden. Just pulling out some things that aren't where I want them, including some sunflower plants and even some garlic that was way over in the walking path. I think it's just so much easier to do now when the plants are big and you can kind of see what they're growing into. Then I can talk myself into letting them stay, like the giant sunflowers planted beside the tomatoes last year. Garlic is doing really well and coming up. And then our pear tree here in the garden, we have never had a pear off of it. And I don't know exactly how many years it's been planted. I think we are approaching about 5 because our daughter, who's 6, could not quite walk independently while we planted it because we plopped her down to take a picture next to it when we planted it. So I would say 5-6 years. It is big, it's beautiful. I've kind of complained about the rain shoots before, my own fault for not trimming it really well, but all these blossoms just popped up everywhere, and I hope that means good things for our tree. Not as many as some trees you'd see, but quite a few. A lot of ants on our blossoms. Is that good or not good? I'm not sure. The older boys and Matt have their tools out today. You can hear them in the background, but they're trimming little twigs and things in the way. They're getting ready to make some room for our kuni so we can rotate them a little bit easier on our property. And then I'm thinking maybe I can convince one of my older boys to come out here and use some of their tools to get rid of some of these raspberry canes that are coming up in the middle of the garden, because I would like to keep them as contained as I can to the little box over here. The celery is doing so well. It's doing so well. Just spotted that coming up a couple weeks ago. Now, since this came up on its own, it might not be the best, but I think we're definitely going to get some celery this year. You guys want some weeds? What's that weed? There, that's garlic. Enjoy.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.
Here in the greenhouse, obviously a lot going on. The heat is just sudden. As you can see, our onions are just popping up like crazy. I'm hoping to get these planted like ASAP. And pretty much everything else is going bonkers in here that was doing even a little bit well. We do have a whole tray of peppers that just didn't seem to be doing well, and it's not recovering. We also have our tomatoes that are not doing well. We have one tray that's fairly decent, most of the Roma type style. The other tomatoes, some here and there. Actually, it does look like what are these? This rainbow mix is starting to pop up, which was quite the variety of tomatoes in there. So we did reach out to a family member who grows and sells plants, and they said they'll be able to get us in tomato plants with however many we're going to need. So we're not going to stress over it, and instead we are going to just move on forward and plant what we've got, get those extra ones, and go from there. Now, because it's so hot in here, I kind of want to just get out of here very quickly. So I was hoping to salvage most of this spinach, but I think just in the interest of time and things and getting things planted here in the greenhouse, I think I'm gonna pull most of it and give it to the animals, which is very, very hard for me to do. Matt will be so proud of me, I hope. So we're gonna start pulling some of these plants out. So this bed is all ready. Maybe I can convince some gentlemen to help me too. Do you think you can pull some of these spinach plants, put them in here, and just toss them over to the chickens and pigs? You gotta make sure, no, you gotta pull them from the root. You don't want to make a huge mess. Shake up the root in the dirt as much as you can and just kind of lay them down. Probably fit like 4 or 5 plants on there. No, start on this end, please. All right, I recruited some help. So in the greenhouse, one of the boys is pulling out the spinach plants, giving them to the pigs and chickens. I can see the pigs from here. Looks like they're loving it. And I think I'm gonna clean this onion bed up a little bit. I don't know if I'll be able to get them planted today, but let's see what we can do.
Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground.
All right, I ran up front to get my hat because the heat, the sun, and I, we don't do well together. We don't get along. I want to be out here getting things planted so that, you know, we can have the goodness despite me not doing well with the sun and the heat. So when I was in the front yard, it's actually shaded and not nearly as hot as it is back here. So I think I might still try to clean this garden bed up a little bit, but I don't think I'm going to plant my onions. I think I'm going to go up there and start cleaning up the flower bed because I picked something up the other day and I want to show you. So I made it up front, I swear, just as the sun's coming up here. I don't know. Anyways, it's a little more shaded, but I'm just not loving this flower bed. I don't think I've loved it for a long time. But we tried planting wildflowers in here last year. Native flowers, just making it more of a pollinator space. And what happened is it got all these different sized plants and it just looked very messy. So I think this is a cool idea, and I think it would be great if it was maybe along the woods line or in our backyard or something, but right in the front of our house, it really bothers me. So I'm going to pull out a lot of this big stuff. I'm not trying to pull out the wildflowers, whatever comes up, fine. But I probably will start pulling bigger things like this and maybe tossing them to the woods. And maybe some of these dead ones will self-seed over there. But this is where we buried our dog Jack. So this is a very special place because of that. So it would be great if we could just have some pretty flowers coming up and things over where he is. Oh, and I said I would show you what I got. So Matt was coming home the other day and he called me and he was like, get in my truck. You're going to so-and-so's house. They're getting rid of a bunch of plants. So I went over there and they were getting rid of some plants, some flower bulbs basically. And I had no idea what they were. I don't know what they are. So I happened to have a friend who came over and I was like, hey, you know flowers. So I asked her and she's pretty sure that these ones in here are lilies and then these ones are irises. So we have both of those at our house, so I kind of have an idea of what it is. I know very little about flowers in general. I probably know more about native plants than I do flowers. So basically because flowers were never a necessity for us. It's just something pretty and fun and something we've only started to experiment with in the last few years. I think I'm gonna get some tools. That was easier. So in case you're wondering what all of these I am pulling out with the hoe are, it is just a common mullein. Now, I like this plant. I save the flowers of the second year mullein so that I can make salve. So I do that for my kids, kind of like a Vicks vapor rub, and it's really nice to have it. But it is a native plant here. There are other places around our house where it is, just not in such abundance. So I am going to pull them out because these aren't going to cause much disturbance in their first year. In the second year, they're going to get such a large shoot that it's just going to take away from what I'm hoping this will look like. Maybe if I can find way back when, I can find pictures of what this looked like the first year, or maybe within the first couple years of us moving here and planting it and getting it all nice and pretty. And I don't want it like that. I don't want it bare. We tried to plant blueberries up here. No such luck. I would love for it to be food, but I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to make it flowers and we're going to make it pretty. Oh,
and
nice.
Dad ate water.
Well, tell me what you planted with Dad. Do you know what it is?
Porcupine tree.
Do you remember who gave it to you?
The tree ladies at school.
I love it. Tree ladies at school. So I realize as I'm planting these, you guys are all going to be messaging us saying, don't plant plants randomly from someone because of jumping worms. So this is literally the property next door where these came from. So I'm not really concerned about that. I don't think that's really going to be a problem. They're right next door. If they have them, we've already got them. So daylilies planted. I have to figure out where those irises are going to go and clean up this giant mess. So I ended up just putting those irises in the front here where it needed to be weeded, but they're planted. And we're gonna get this all put away. And I am done for the day. Hope you enjoyed this, if you can call it a garden or greenhouse tour. I'm glad you got to see me again. Bye.